you doing? This is Zach Allen. I'm a golf instructor in Valencia, California. We're going to give you some tips today to help you use your hips a little bit better. So something that I often see with many of the students, I have a lot of 3D equipment at my studio in Valencia, and I would say probably half the students that I see there, when I put them on 3D, they're usually square at impact with their hips and shoulders closed.
So some 3D images here of an amateur golfer, and we'll see their impact position about 5 open with the hips and about 12 degrees closed with the shoulders. So definitely not rotating or opening up through the shot. That's causing the lead shoulder to pull up and the wrist to extend and release early. So many people pulling up through the shot, it's rooted in an inability to get open through the hitting area. So from the overhead view, you'll see a lot of the same stuff, an inability to rotate. That club and the hands have to get so active through the hit, not providing much power.
So if you really think about that logistically, if you look at so many other sports, like say somebody hitting a slap shot in hockey, right, and how open they're able to get their hips and their shoulders coming through. If you're able to see a baseball player hitting a home run, and at that point of contact where their hips and where their chest are facing, or even somebody just chopping a tree down, right? Just say if they're taking an axe and they're trying to cut a tree down. You want to get that large rotational impulse that we can get from our hips, from our glutes, from our lats, from our torso, to really start to give you more power in the downswing. But there's some things that you have to be able to do in order to get that done, because obviously there's many golfers out there that are just getting right to the top and they're just coming straight over the top. Okay, so just to simply open up your hips, it's not always that easy. So what we see the best players in the world doing, though, at impact, typically your tour player average is about 35 degrees open with his hips, and he's about 20 degrees open with his shoulders.
Great young tour player, Brysons Numbers, his 3D numbers. You can see at address he's 6 degrees closed with the shoulders and 5 degrees open with the hips. So great swings are trademarked not just by the rotation going back and the depth of rotation, but how consistently these great players are able to rotate and continue to open up through the hit. So we see there about 32 open with the hips, 12 open with the shoulders at the point of impact, and then he continues on through to a very full finish. So one thing to take note of is how consistently his body will continue to open and rotate as he strikes the golf ball. Okay, not only is he getting more open than your average amateur, but notice how there's no stall there. Those numbers continue to open up as he comes through. So as we look at it from the overhead view, a little different perspective, you can see there how the hips are obviously leading the shoulders coming down, but everything continues to turn. There's no stalling of the body as he comes through to hit it. Anytime somebody stalls, the body's going to, in effect, pull up or get stuck at impact.
Some of the benefits you get from being more open is you're going to be able to get more shaft lean and a better strike at impact, because we're going to be able to hit ball and then turf. For those of you that are coming in closed, right, hips closed to the target, shoulders closed to the target, typically that club's going to release and straighten up early. You're either going to hit the ground slightly behind the ball, or your body's going to be forced to come up, scooping the ball and losing some distance. So a great drill that I have some of my students do here is to actually set up at address, pose where you're going to be at impact, right? So at impact, I want to feel my body starting to torque and rotate. You can see my feet and ankles starting to rotate. It's shifting my weight forward, but it's also putting a little pressure on my lead arm here. As I start to open up, my hips pull my shoulders around, and that pulls my lead arm against my chest. And you can see from that position, it's very easy to get some shaft lean, to put a lot of compression on that ball, and I'm also getting my weight forward that way. So from here, what you do is you set up at address, okay? We open up to really feel where impact is. From there, you could go ahead and rehearse coming back and then back down, feeling where impact is. You notice I've got this little alignment stick with the head cover on it. That's just to make sure when I do this drill that I'm not opening up my body but leaving my hands up really high. Because from there, the club's going to be too far above plane. I'm probably going to be cutting across it So make sure as you go to do this, I'm also still shallowing this golf club in my downswing, right? I'm taking this center of mass and moving it down and behind me as my body continues to open, open, open. Okay, so I've got a couple feels there of center of mass behind me opening up. Start off with just some small chip shots, just to get a feel of where impact is. Everything's opening, body's clearing, the club is still coming down shallow, and I'm hitting the inside part of the ball. Once you've done a few rehearsals like that, you can start to hit the ball a little harder. I would still start with a little rehearsal coming down of feeling the weight move forward, feeling my body open. Left arm is connected to my chest, and I can still see the club head moving inside, right, inside out, to where I'm still going to hit the inside part of the ball. So many of you out there are trying to get open, but you're not managing the club, so that club is still cutting across the golf ball, and you're not going to get the benefits of being as open as you can be like tour players are. So let's hit this one a little harder. So I could feel there as I was coming down, definitely the body was more open, but I was able to still keep the club relatively shallow coming into it. So I hope that helps you out. You don't need to have necessarily the alignment sticks on you. That's just visually to give you a little feel for what we're doing. Getting more open will definitely improve your ball striking. I guarantee it with your irons. Getting more of that rotational impulse will give you a better position to strike the ball and at impact, but it'll send more energy out to the club. If you do it correctly, it'll give you more club head speed with your driver. Okay, so give that drill a try, see if it helps. Also, don't forget to like my video, share it with your friends if you enjoyed it. It'll help us grow the channel. I really appreciate your support, and I'll see you on the next video.